On April 30, 1975, the world witnessed the dramatic conclusion of the Vietnam War as Saigon, the capital of South Vietnam, fell to the advancing North Vietnamese Army, NVA. This event marked not only the collapse of the South Vietnamese government but also the end of a two-decade-long conflict that had shaped global politics, military strategy, and the lives of millions. The fall of Saigon remains one of the most iconic and tragic moments in modern history. The lead-up to the fall. By early 1975, the South Vietnamese government was already in turmoil. Following the withdrawal of U.S. combat troops in 1973 under the Paris Peace Accords, the South Vietnamese army struggled with dwindling resources, low morale, and insufficient American support. Meanwhile, the NVA launched a series of rapid offensives in the Central Highlands and southern provinces, capturing key cities and cutting off major supply lines. Despite desperate attempts to stabilize the situation, Saigon's defenses were crumbling. By April, North Vietnamese forces were within striking distance of the capital, and panic began to spread among both soldiers and civilians. Evacuation and chaos. As North Vietnamese troops encircled Saigon, the United States organized a massive evacuation operation known as Operation Frequent Wind. American personnel and at-risk South Vietnamese civilians were airlifted from the U.S. Embassy and other strategic locations. Helicopters landed on rooftops and in crowded areas, picking up evacuees while under constant threat. Thousands of Vietnamese citizens rushed toward evacuation points, fearing reprisals from the North Vietnamese. Scenes of helicopters lifting desperate families from rooftops became some of the most enduring images of the war, symbolizing both panic and the human cost of political collapse. The final hours. On April 30, 1975, North Vietnamese tanks broke through the gates of the presidential palace in Saigon. South Vietnamese President Duong Van Minh surrendered unconditionally, declaring an end to the Republic of Vietnam. The NVA quickly secured government buildings, military installations, and infrastructure. Many South Vietnamese soldiers and officials attempted to flee but were captured or forced to surrender. Civilians faced uncertainty as the communist government began restructuring the city and enforcing its policies. By nightfall, the city was fully under North Vietnamese control. Saigon would later be renamed Ho Chi Minh City in honor of the communist leader who had guided the North Vietnamese cause. Humanitarian and cultural impact. The fall of Saigon triggered a massive refugee crisis. Hundreds of thousands of South Vietnamese fled by sea or air in the years following, seeking safety in the United States, Australia, and other countries. The psychological impact was profound. For Americans, it marked a humiliating end to a costly war, leading to national reflection and policy shifts in U.S. foreign interventions. For South Vietnamese, it meant adaptation to a new government, often under difficult and repressive circumstances. The images of helicopters evacuating desperate civilians, the crowded embassy grounds, and the chaos on the streets became emblematic of war's human toll. Historical significance. The fall of Saigon represents the end of U.S. involvement in Vietnam. After years of military engagement, bombing campaigns, and advisory roles, the U.S. withdrew, leaving the South Vietnamese to face the North alone. The triumph of North Vietnam. Militarily and politically, the North achieved unification under communist control, reshaping Southeast Asia's geopolitical landscape. A cautionary tale. The event influenced future U.S. military and foreign policy, emphasizing the risks of prolonged overseas engagement without clear objectives or public support. Legacy. Today, the fall of Saigon is remembered both in Vietnam and internationally. In Vietnam, April 30th is celebrated as Reunification Day, marking the end of colonial-style division. In the United States, it symbolizes a period of reflection on military intervention, strategy, and the human cost of war. Globally, the images and stories from Saigon serve as reminders of the fragility of political regimes and the enduring consequences of conflict on civilians. The fall of Saigon on April 30, 1975, was more than a military defeat. It was a moment that encapsulated the culmination of 2 decades of struggle, foreign intervention, and human suffering. The event marked the end of the Vietnam War, the reunification of Vietnam under communist control, and a pivotal lesson in the complexities of modern warfare. The echoes of that day, desperation, courage, and the hope for survival, remain etched in history as a powerful testament to the resilience of those caught in the tides of war.